Well, for a long time I had wanted to write an opera. And I just happened to have been reading the New York Times book review. I was at a McDowell colony in New Hampshire, an artist residency, and while I should have been working, I was reading the New York Times. And here was this book review talking about this great book, Tom Philpott's Glory Denied. And I still remember one of the lines in the review. The book captures some of the imperishable bitterness of the war's legacy. I was born in 1956, so anyone who's around my age thinks of that time, the 60s and 70s, as really the defining moment of their lives. And I think a lot of young people today don't realize how much that time period continues to influence the world today. The whole counterculture, do your own thing movement that began then, we still see reflected in both positive and negative ways in today's society. Also, I was fascinated by the story of this man who becomes a prisoner in Vietnam in '64 and isn't released until '73. Now, I'm old enough to recall, if you looked at a high school yearbook in 1964, all the men have crew cuts, they're wearing jackets and ties and white shirts, the women are all in dresses. You come back in 1973, and it's completely different. Everybody's wearing wild clothes, hair out to here, mini skirts. And Colonel Thompson must have thought he was coming back to Mars. I don't think our country has ever changed so much as it did within those 9 years. And finally, the third thing that appealed to me about this story was that here is a tale, an American story, where no one is all good and no one is all bad. And sometimes we forget that, but that's how people are, really. And it's nice to be reminded of that. Well, we're certainly in a world of great conflict. And I take some peace. When you think today how conflicted we are, our country, and how angry we are at one another, if those of us who are a little older can think back to the 60s and say, yeah, this was like that too then, and we got past it. And we got back together again. And we respected each other again. And so I take a little solace from that and a little optimism. And hopefully that will come to pass. Well, I'd like younger audience members to just know something about that period. There's a line near the end of the opera, Bracelet, about the POW bracelets, which was such an important symbol during that time. And I don't think younger people today know what that represented. And so I'd like for them to know about that time and how it's influenced them today. I'd like people my age to just think back on it for a while and dwell on it and remember.